Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Eric from Tech. I asked you guys to vote on the channel and the unanimous winner is the ROG Phone 5. So here it is, representing the Snapdragon 888, and it's going to go head to head with the S21 Ultra with the EXYNOS 2100 and the iPhone 12 Pro Max with the BIONIC A14 chip. So what are we waiting for, guys? Let's get this head to head started. So before we begin, I'm going to be testing these three phones out in a couple of tests, namely Antutu Benchmark, 3D Mark, and I'm going to be doing a bit of gaming on these phones. I'm going to be running the most demanding mobile game out right now, which is Genshin Impact. So hopefully by the end of the video, we'll know which of these three chips are the most powerful and which one of these can actually sustain performance over time. But first, a word from our sponsor, guys. U2Key is an online game and software store designed to sell digital video games. The company's primary goal is to provide you guys with a huge variety of games and Windows software at affordable prices. I put up some links on the video description, and if you make use of my own promo code EGO1, you would get additional discounts. So for example, for this Windows 10 professional retail key, I just enter my promo code EGO1, click on redeem, and you have further discounts on your purchase. And if you want to get the Microsoft Office 2016 Professional Plus, then you can use the promo code EGO2. You will get an additional $4.98 of discount. And the payment method supported by U2Key is PayPal and of course all the major credit cards. So feel free to use whichever payment method is the most convenient for you guys. Alright guys, so I've loaded Antutu Benchmark version 8.4.1. I'm not going to be using version 9, mainly because the iOS version of Antutu only supports or only has version 8.4.1 as the latest. It doesn't have version 9 yet. I have to install 8.4.1 on the S21 Ultra as well as the ROG Phone 5. And since this phone is only running at 60Hz, so I'm going to be making sure that my refresh rate is set to 60 on the S21 Ultra, and I'll dial down the resolution to 1080. So that's set for the S21 Ultra. Let's go to the ROG Phone 5. Okay, so let's set the refresh rate as well to 60. Okay, refresh rate is 60, guys. So let's start the Antutu benchmark test in 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, so the first 5 Antutu tests are done. The ROG Phone 5 still scores the highest with 697,226 at the 5th and final test. Temperature went as high as 47.3 on the ROG Phone 5, 44 on the S21 Ultra. Unfortunately, there is no temperature reading on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, so I had to rely on the external temperatures. The big loser here over time is the S21 Ultra with a score of 493,534. So with this first test out of the way, I'll go ahead and let the phones cool down, and then I'll move on to Geekbench next. I'll only run it once, so we'll see the max scores on the phone, and then we'll go ahead and run 3D Mark Wildlife Stress Test, and we'll finish up with the Genshin Impact gaming session. Alright guys, so temperatures should have cooled down by a lot. I left it for around an hour. So now we can go ahead and do the Geekbench 5 test. So let's start the CPU test in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so those are the results, and the A14 BIONIC Chip takes the single core score with 1554. Second place, the Snapdragon 888 with 1129. In third place, the EXYNOS 2100 with 1075. So it's the same case for the multi-core score, 4267 on the A14 chip, 3694 on the 888, 3290 on the 2100. So on 3D Mark, I'm going to be running the wildlife stress test, but I'll be making sure I'll be running it in unlimited mode. So that means the final score it's going to get is not going to be affected by things such as refresh rate and by resolution. So I set them all to unlimited mode. So the 3D Mark wildlife test is done. Of course, the A14 takes it with that best loop score of 9105. Lowest loop score is 6512, which is actually a lot higher than the other best loop scores on these other phones. Stability wise, the iPhone 12 Pro Max takes it with a stability of 71.5, followed by 66.3 on the ROG Phone 5 and a very low 59% on the S21 ULTRA. Alright, so I'll let the phones cool down and then I'm going to be running a 30-minute Genshin Impact test. So stay tuned, guys. Alright guys, so I'll be running Genshin Impact on the iPhone 12 Pro Max first. Starting recording in 3, 2, 1, guys.
You're in for a little shock. You've been a naughty boy. You're in for a little shock.
Alright guys, 30 minutes of Genshin Impact on the iPhone 12 Pro Max is done. I'll show you the graphs later to see the average frames per second that we're getting on this phone. So next, we'll be doing the S21 ULTRA. So let me load up Genshin Impact as well. Alright, starting our 30-minute test. To keep things fair, I'm not going to be going into any dungeons. I'm going to be just exploring the open world.
Come a little closer. You've been a naughty boy. You've been a naughty boy. Let it rip. Prepare to be blown away. Oh, so sorry. Dodge this.
So that's it for this S21 Ultra. Maximum temperature that I'd seen was 42 degrees. And finally, we've got the ROG Phone 5. So let me load up Genshin Impact in this one.
Oh, so sorry. Blitz.
This is bad. Chill to the bone.
Cool it.
Excuse for seconds.
You've been a naughty boy. No one escapes my sights.
Alright guys, 30 minutes done. Looking at the max temperature, internal temperature maxed out at 63 degrees. Alright, so all 4 tests are done guys. So I did Antutu Benchmark, I did Geekbench 5, I did 3D Mark, and I did Genshin Impact. The ROG Phone 5 actually won the first Antutu test with the highest score of 723,320. And here are the results of that test guys. So that's 1 point for the ROG Phone 5. But on the Geekbench 5 test, the iPhone 12 Pro Max runs away with it, beating both the S21 ULTRA and the ROG Phone 5 in the single CPU score as well as the multi-CPU score. So here are the results for Geekbench 5 on the screen guys. So now the score is 1 point for ROG Phone 5 and 1 score for the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Zilch or 0 for the S21 ULTRA. Now for the 3D Mark score, again the iPhone 12 Pro Max wins this one with a best loop score of 9,105. Stability was also the highest at 71.5. And the big loser among the 3 is still the EXYNOS 2100 used by the S21 ULTRA. It just can't seem to cope with that high temperature. So now it's 2 points for the iPhone 12 and 1 point for the ROG Phone 5. So now I'll show you the results that I got with the Genshin Impact 30-minute test. In terms of FPS, the S21 ULTRA loses out with just a 26.8 frames per second on average, while the ROG Phone 5 actually won this frames per second test with a 55.4 average frames per second. I couldn't compare Android with iOS results, so I'm only displaying the Android results, which is the S21 ULTRA and the ROG Phone 5. The iPhone 12 Pro Max didn't do too bad. It had an average frames per second of 46.7. Now in terms of battery, because of that powerful chip, it actually used the most with 8,766 milliwatts of power, while the S21 ULTRA only used 4,314.5. The phone with the lowest battery consumption was the iPhone 12 Pro Max with 4,132.9 milliwatts. Temperature-wise, the ROG Phone 5 was actually the hottest. The internal CPU temperature went up to as high as 60.6. Couldn't get the temperature readings on the EXYNOS version, but I used the built-in performance monitor and I saw that it never hit higher than 42 degrees Celsius. The one with the lowest temperature is the iPhone 12 Pro Max with 38.4. And calculating based on the numbers that we got from the battery test, you can play Genshin Impact a total of 3.49 hours on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, 4.44 on the S21 ULTRA, and the ROG 5 or the ROG Phone 5, you can run Genshin Impact straight for 5.14 hours. So with the Genshin Impact test, we can see that the ROG Phone 5 is more than capable of running Genshin Impact at an average frames per second of 55.4, which is not too bad. The iPhone 12 Pro Max didn't do too bad with a 46.7 frames per second on average. And the big loser among the 3, as expected, is the EXYNOS 2100 used by the S21 ULTRA. It didn't even win one test and it didn't even come second in any of those tests. It placed last on each and every test. So looking at the results of these tests guys, I'm really disappointed in the EXYNOS 2100. And the bad thing about it is that in some areas, this is the only version that you're gonna get. The Snapdragon 888 version should perform better, but it's only available in certain regions. So the results of this matchup is kind of inconclusive at this point because the iPhone 12 Pro Max got 2 points, ROG Phone 5 got 2. 0 on the S21 ULTRA. A lot of us came into this video thinking that the iPhone 12 Pro Max with the BIONIC A14 chip would run away with all of the tests, but the ROG Phone 5 actually put up a good fight. It actually won 2 out of 4. So it's a fairly even match between the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the ROG Phone 5. But what I like about the gaming phone is that it's more stable in terms of the frames per second, so I actually enjoyed playing Genshin Impact more on the ROG Phone 5 than the iPhone 12 Pro Max. The back of the phone did get a bit hot, 20 minutes into the test, but if you're using the case that came with the phone, then your hands are not going to make direct contact with the back of the phone, so you should be able to play longer without burning your fingers. And of course, you also have the option of attaching the Aero Active Cooler 5, which I didn't do in this test because the S21 Ultra and the iPhone 12 Pro Max don't have their own dedicated coolers. So we'll end this matchup right here, guys. Let me know what you think of the video and the results on the comment section down below. But until then, a sub would be massively appreciated. Please like and subscribe, hit that bell icon notification, and see you all in my next one.